Well, dear students, it's very good to see you again. In this occasion, I'd like to talk about what morphology is. Yeah? But of course, when we talk about uh, morphology, we cannot separate it from a study about language, which is known as linguistic. Yeah? So before we come to focus discussions on morphology, then we have to review what language is, because from this point I hope that you will understand what morphology is easily. Okay. Yeah, let's start from the definitions of language by Aristotle. Yeah, Aristotle is one of the philosophers who lived in around 500 years before Christ. Okay, so according to Aristotle, speech is the representations of the experience of the mind. Language is a speech sound produced by human beings to express their ideas, emotions, thoughts, desires, and feeling. Okay, from this explanation, there are two keywords there. Yeah, here in this definition, Aristotle has covers about two aspects of the language. That is about its form or its shape, as well as its functions. Okay, the shape or the forms of language, according to Aristotle, is speech sound. So this is important term. Yeah, speech sounds here, the sounds that is made or produced by speech organs of human being. Is in phonology, I mean, you have studied about sound, and sounds, as you know, that it is divided into two categories. We have acoustic sounds and speech sounds, or articulatory sound. So the first is dealing with the non-speech organs production. Yeah, but the latter, I mean the second, is produced by speech organs of human being. And when we talk about sounds here, sounds which is terminologically called as phonemes, later divided into broad types. First is consonants and vowels. Both of them have different way of production. So in order to refresh this subject, you can review your phonology book again. Well, in terms of functions, language, according to Aristotle, is used to express ideas, emotion, thoughts, desires, and feelings. Yeah. So as you know that, for examples, now I'm expressing or using language for expressing ideas. Maybe song composers mainly use language for expressing their emotions and maybe feelings. Yeah. Well, now let's go to the definitions of language by Saussure. Language is an arbitrary system of signs constitute the signifiers and signified. So in other words, language is a system based on no logic or reasons. Yeah. Secondly, the system covers both objects and expressions used for objects. Therefore, objects and expression are arbitrarily linked. And finally, expressions include sounds and graphemes used by humans for generating speech and writing. Well, the important point of definition by Saussure here is the word system. Yeah? As you know, the system here refers to whole things that consist of parts, a whole entity that consists of parts or components or elements, in which the elements of the systems has particular functions and they are related to each other in order to build up the holistic performance of the system. Yeah, okay. Systems, what is meant by sources here is system of signs, and signs here constituted by signifiers and signified. Signifiers here refers to the sounds or the phonemic labels of language. Yeah, to refers to the light in the sky or in the night, you know. Those kinds of lights, I mean, on the sky by Japanese people, okay, they are labeled as lintang. Yeah, the same entity in English is labeled as stars, whilst in Indonesian language it is labeled as bintang. Okay, you see then the lights as an entity are the same. Yeah, so this is the objects that finally become the concept, and this is what we call by Saucer as signified. Okay, whilst the phonemic, the sounds, the labeling sounds, just like stars, lintang, and bintangs are the signifiers. Okay, so the relationship between what is signified and the signifiers are no logic. I mean, cannot be rationally explained. So this is what we call as arbitrary. Well, next, the language definitions by Chomsky. Different from the two previous scholars, Chomsky tried to define language by the aspect of as the part of the capability of human being. So especially the capability of native speakers to understand and form grammatical sentences. Yeah, so language, according to Chomsky, is a set of finite or infinite sentences and constructed out of a finite sets of sentences. Yeah, here Chomsky refers to the ability of human being that is innate, so it is given or God-given. Yeah? So every human being, according to Chomsky, will have a potential to use language, master, understand language, and use language for communication. And why this ability to form sentences? Because sentences here is, according to structural linguistics, it is a complete thought, a representation of complete thought. And then when we communicate, of course, we try to combine one sentence into another, so that we will have some kinds of more sets of sentences that can represent our message or our complete thought. Okay, that's the point from Chomsky. As to conclude from the three scholars, the definitions of language can be seen from the three aspects. The first aspect is from its form, its functions, and its characteristic. The forms of the language refers to speech sound, system of signs, and grammatical sentences. Meanwhile, the functions of the language is used to express ideas, emotions, thought, desires, and feelings. Next is for communications or methods of communicating ideas. And then to understand and form grammatical sentences. And the last is to establish social relationship. From the aspect of its characteristics, language is purely human, and it is the capacity of only humans also. So it means that no other creatures but humans who has a language, and it is also arbitrary. And the last is language is a form of psychological phenomena. Now we come to the discussions on what is morphology. Yeah, morphology is the study of words and how they are formed and their relationship to other words in the same language. So morphology basically an analysis of the structure of words. So it has two-dimensional aspects to address here. It is about combinations of morphemes and the word formation rules. Just to sum up, morphology deal with analyzing words, and then it's also deal with how the morphemes are combined to form words. Next is how words are combined to form a new words, and then how the phonemic parts of words are combined to form a new words. So where is the positions of morphology in relation to the linguistic branches? Yeah, as I said before, that language consists of form and meaning. And in the aspect of meanings, meaning here refers to contextual meanings and literal meaning. Okay, whilst the form consists of phrases, words, and sound, or here is phoneme. Phrase is studied by syntax, words studied by morphology, and sounds is studied by phonology. For more complete pictures about the positions of morphology, you can have a look at this diagram. Well, I think that's all, and thank you for your attention.